some people to get on board before we get started. Yeah, I don't want to get, of course it's congested in here, but that's Fred Meyer, so, or I should say that section is congested. What's up, folks? Merry Christmas, or Merry Belated Christmas. All right. Oh, excuse me. It's pretty packed in here. People probably jonesing out here because they couldn't get in here yesterday. Oh, and I think they sold out of what I was looking for. Damn. Oh, wait a second. I think I see some Wagyus. What's up? What's up? Okay, so they sold out of all the... Damn, man. So we got some... Look at this. They did damage on all of these Wagyus and primes. So what do I get now? And those... oh, wow. Wait a second now. That has a 6 marbling score on it. It's a ribeye. They only have one. Of course they do. See how they do us out here? I'm just gonna get 2. Give me just a sec, guys, and we're gonna get into the subject. Just picking up a few things. Because I know the kids are going to be like, Dad, I want steak too. Dad. Get them some steak. We don't want bacon cheeseburgers. We want what you're eating. It's all good, though. I'm the reason they like steak. Why are you gatekeeping Mr. Pole's eye? What does that mean? What is Mr. Pole? I thought the Mr. Pole went away. I heard that the account that you guys have been seeing isn't really his. That it's move out of the way. Yeah, I heard it was not really his account. All right, I'm gonna go somewhere comfy and have a seat, because as you guys know, I like to come into Fred Meyer's and have a seat in their furniture section and give you content, because I'm goofy like that. Give me a second. Excuse me. So, why am I doing this video again? Well, I tell you, it's funny. There was a Proton guy, or whatever group he's with, some sort of group, who got invited into a space, Twitter space, and he made a comment and said, "Oh, I'm not going to go into T space and debate him. It's just a XRP emotional support group." Well, it's funny he said that, because in all honesty, I feel like that's kind of why I'm doing these lives at this point, right? I feel like we give you guys it's dark over here. Why is it so? Give me a sec. Like, why is it so dark? Oh, it's my display. Give me a sec. I was like, what the hell? I had my stupid display down the entire time. So, am I doing emotional support groups for everyone? Well, I mean, one could argue that, right? Um, because most of what I've said, I've said time and time again, right? And the harsh reality of it is that you're just gonna have to wait, right? But I am seeing a lot of misconceptions out there, which rightfully so and understandably so. This is None of this stuff is common knowledge, right? Um, Most financiers and financial advisors don't even get this stuff right within this asset space. You got CFAs talking out of the side of their ass, you know, on Twitter. I could go on and on, right? Because people, they don't know any better, right? Emotional support, welcome. All right, Philly, let's not, come on, man, let's not be weird here. um, but look, all right, there has been, in my opinion, guys, a huge misunderstanding of what it takes to make not just cryptocurrency go up, but an asset like an XRP, right? What do I mean by that? I think people are automatically equating any form of utility to significant value or price appreciation. That's not fully how this works, all right? And we're going to kind of, thank you. I think that says Tricios. Have a go. I appreciate it. Do I think it's going to go straight up or gradually? Well, we'll talk about that, right? Um, it's hard because in one breath, I could get on here and say all the great things that the asset can do, and ultimately that's going to shoot the price to $100 quadrillion, and everyone's going to be rich and happy with Lambos and yachts and blah 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 blah. Right now, the real truth is, in my humble opinion, it's going to take several different variables working together within not just this asset, but the space as a whole for assets like it that have a strong utility case, but have yet to be realized as a store of value fully to appreciate in price, right? Now, you hear these buzzwords, you hear utility, you hear interoperability, you hear store value, and content creators will take these things and they'll throw them around all over the place without any sort of context. I don't do that here on my channel, which is why a lot of my videos are like 4 hours long, right? Because I'm going to do my best to break this stuff down like you don't even know what crypto is, okay? And I think that's the disservice that's being done here. And I'm not going to name any names of people who do that, but if you're going to throw these, like I said, these buzzwords out, then you need to explain them. For one, all right, interoperability doesn't mean shit if you don't have a high enough demand for the asset. A high enough demand for the asset and utilization widespread doesn't mean shit if you don't have a scenario where the asset is realized as a store of value as well. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, number one, it's got to be viewed as a safe place for venture capitalists and hedge fund managers and institutions on a large scale to park their money at, right? People will look at Bitcoin and they'll say, oh, well, it's volatile because, it can go all the way up to 69,000 and then, who knows, it could drop down to 20,000 in a few months. That's the point. It's already proven to have that ability because of the VCs, because of the institutions, et cetera, behind the scenes to use that volatility as a positive and go to levels that people never even thought possible for the asset. So with that being said, what you're seeing from Bitcoin, if you zoom out, isn't really negative volatility, right? People are just looking at what's right in front of them instead of looking at its gradual progression over time, right? It does indeed effectively serve its function as a store of value. Now, the thing is, you have a bunch of these, what people call ISO tokens or ISO related tokens, that have a high supply, right? You're talking anywhere from 13 billion to maybe 100 billion in existence for some of these assets. All right. Now, with that being said, this goes back to a simple premise that I talked about on Twitter, right? And I made it real simple for everyone regarding AW. Shut the fuck up. Bye. You're blocked. Block that clown and get him out. Get him out of the channel. All right. Thank you. Anyways, when you're talking about a store of value, what you want to see, like I said earlier, is that stability. And it doesn't look stable in the short term, but in the long term, it just may. XRP, it kind of, and others like it, kind of fit that mold, right? Excuse my French, by the way, but I'm just not going to suffer plebs or trolls. I can talk as much as I want. If you don't like it, get off my channel or unsub. Like, no one told you to be here. Anyways, like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, with an asset like that, what constitutes or what things can happen to allow institutions and VCs to view this thing as a store of value? Well, number one, ETFs, right? And I think there's a gross misunderstanding of what a spot ETF is and what the requirements are. I don't care if you see something about it being cash redeemable, etc. That has nothing to do with the money manager, or the fund manager, I should say, that's overseeing that fund. It doesn't disqualify them from having to hold the physical underlying asset for the fund, right? So that right there is probably one of the easier takeaways from how you would see a scenario where an asset with a high supply and a high market cap could essentially have activity that could remove quite a bit of it from the open market, right? That's what you need to see, all right? The premise is simple, right? You need more people buying than they are selling, and to that point, you need more people also holding after they buy, okay? You are not going to see a scenario where this thing goes straight up to the moon and folks are still dumping it, right? Now, here's the thing. Does the escrow play a role in that? The escrow release that happens every month for what? 1 billion XRP. I would say the way that they have it designed, or the schedule that they release it on, probably doesn't, I'm not going to say it has zero impact on the market, but I don't think it's a scenario where it's being dumped per se. And I do believe, some people think that Ripple will ultimately hold on to the escrow forever. And you'll see a scenario where they use it to facilitate utility with third-party companies, etc., for stabilization, whatever, right? I don't believe that, okay? And I could be 100% wrong, but I've never believed that was the full purpose for the escrow. I believe for the time being, it will serve a similar purpose to what I just described, but I think over time, I think that escrow is going somewhere, all right? Now, here's the thing you have to realize. Because the escrow isn't counted as the circulating supply right now, a lot of people think that if that escrow is pre-allocated to institutions, that the institutions, it can be relinquished to them and then they would just dump it on the market, right? Essentially. That's not going to happen, in my humble opinion, and it's not going to happen for the reason that I keep beating into everyone's heads regarding what QNB just came out and released. And this is like my 20th time repeating the QNB news, but I keep repeating it because I don't think people get just how important that is. All right, you're look. I'm going to be 100% honest. You're not going to see a damn thing with any utility-related asset that's going to get you wealthy until there is no more correspondent banking. That's the truth. All right, I've talked about Nostro Vostro until I'm blue in the face, and I just get laughed at half the time. And people are like, "Oh, that's just a buzzword." Blah 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 blah. Okay, well, fine. I'll leave you to your own, devices, and you can figure it out yourself. Once utilities start to be applied, people are going to be left with their jaw on the floor. Well, there's going to be a few things, right? So I said this before. More people need to buy the asset than they are selling it, right? That's simple, all right, for any asset, not just crypto. All right, you need to see that be a formula across the board for anything to appreciate in value. People forget the basics. And like I said, people are coming into the space and they're not investors, okay? We're just gonna call it for what it is. You're a gambler, and that's okay too, right? Because gamblers need some more to make money as well. But if you're looking for quick money, if you're looking to be rich tomorrow, I mean, I'm sorry, this is not, unless you have the inside jump or scoop on some sort of a weird meme coin and you're gonna screw a lot of people over by using them as exit liquidity, you're not gonna get rich, all right? T, your whiteboard on ISO was on point. We are just waiting for regs and mass institutional adoption. And see, that's the thing, right? You have to, look, you have to ask yourself these things, okay? And this won't be a long live, right? This will be a relatively quick one. Let me check my, let me turn this display down just a bit. This won't be a long live, but as an investor in the space, you have to ask yourself these questions. If I were an institution or the head of an institution, what would attract me about XRP to make me want to hold it, right? Not, oh, I can use it, not have to hold it, and essentially only take pseudo possession of it during the 3 to 5 second transactional window, right? And then I don't need to own it after that. As an institution, what would make you look at XRP and say, we need this on our balance sheets, we need to hold it? And I'm gonna look at the comments because I want to see who answers this. Will we hit another big dip? Oh, well, after hearing Brad Kimes talk about USD Tether being partnered with the Secret Service, I don't know. I was kind of counting on a Tether dip, you know, but I don't know now. Yes, ETFs probably will affect. Well, here's the thing with ETFs though, right? Yeah, they absolutely have the ability to affect price in a positive manner, but how much money are these funds going to put in specific cryptos, right? You would have to, so to answer that, because here's the thing, we had, I think it was Dark Horse or someone had posted something today on Twitter that said that some analysts believe that the spot Bitcoin ETF approval is already factored in to the current price appreciation you're seeing in Bitcoin. Now, could that be a thing? Maybe. Maybe these guys in anticipation went out and bought a bunch of Bitcoin and that's what brought it back up. But I don't know if I fully believe that, right? I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see once the approval is announced. It is my opinion, depending on what other cryptos are attached to those funds, those ETFs, we'll see, right, what it does to the market. I don't know if there's enough supporting evidence to say that that's already factored in to what it's going to do, essentially, price-wise. Meaning, if Bitcoin right now is pretty much at its ceiling, and when they actually approve the ETFs, you won't see much price movement. I mean, who in here believes that? I mean, that could be valid, right? So we got some answers here. We got some answers. I hold it because it's digital cash, somewhere to park capital, the tech behind it, store value, utility, to facilitate the new financial system, profits, stability. Now, here's the thing. Those are all good answers for retail to hold it. Why would an institution want to hold it, right? Because here's the thing. The utility can be accessed due to how things are set up. It can be accessed without actually owning it outright. On-demand liquidity is already an example of that, unless they change the model of ODL. When they have to use it all the time and realize that it's a store of value. Velocity, low fees, price stability. There's only one fully quantum proof network and wallet. T, I can't believe I found it. They are not stupid. It doesn't seem like they will start buying only after the ETF. They're already inside a long time ago. The ability to transfer different currency quickly and cheaply would be a good reason. The ability to settle any asset in the world for any other asset at a fraction of a penny, that utility is second to none. Also, tokenization of assets is going to be key for institutions holding XRP. Now, these are all very good. Are they allowed to buy Bitcoin before the ETF? According to some in the comments, they already have it. They already have all they need, right? Okay. I mean, hey, maybe they do. Yeah, there's the AMM too. I mean, there's plenty of networks that have AMMs already, but I'll tell you a secret. Okay, well, it's not really a secret. But I'll tell you what I think, all right? In my humble opinion, you need a combination of things to see violent price action. You need acquisition. You need more holding and buying than selling. You need retail interest. You also need a use case. Because see, here's the thing, right? Bitcoin is being held out of desire and greed by venture capitalists and institutions who like to market manipulate and short the asset, all right? I think what separates a Bitcoin from an XRP is that certain utility factors regarding the asset will eventually put institutions in a position to where it serves almost, it becomes almost a necessity, essentially, for institutions, certain institutions, to hold the asset in a secure environment. Now, do you need to do this for cross-border payments and remittances? Not yet. You won't need to do that until you start seeing major traction behind migrating away from a correspondent environment, and then institutions have to set up some sort of a reserve pool where the asset is held to essentially correspond with the amount of value that they're sending, right? Non-stop. Okay, that's one catalyst that we'll see happen at some point in the future. The other catalyst that no one's talking about is the derivative catalyst. And if they are saying it, they're just saying derivatives. Well, how does it handle derivatives? What are derivatives? Well, wait a second. How are derivatives traded? I want you guys to tell me. I'm not even gonna name anyone that's a content creator because I don't do that. But I see it all, okay? I want you guys to tell me one content creator that came out. There's only one I can think of, right? That gave a pretty good explanation on derivatives and debt outside of myself. And I just did a kickback / video with him on his channel the other night. Outside of him and me, and others, you know, I'd say Kurt and throw all those guys in the mix as well, because they have a really good understanding, but they don't count. You guys already know they do. I'm talking about like guys that are constantly on YouTube, right? How many have come out and told you how XRP is going to facilitate the swap of derivatives? Do they even know what environment derivatives are currently traded in or what the rules are regarding swapping them? Yes, I am going to speak on it. So that's the problem, right? People hear Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz and these guys come out and they say certain things, and then you're taking it and you're regurgitating it and you're not offering context. And that's not hate, that's just a fact. No one outside of the select few people that I know, that I mentioned, can even tell me how XRP would assist in derivative swapping or what environment it's done in. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know, per the BTSX, per the DTCC and the ISDA, how derivatives are traded. and where XRP would likely fall into the puzzle regarding enacting that utility. So, tokenized securities are derivatives almost exclusively, right? Maybe there's certain cases they're not, but when you hear all these folks talking about tokenization, you're going to see a lot of tokenized securities be classified as derivatives for trade. Now, here's the problem with that, okay? Per the DTCC and the ISDA, derivatives are traded without an exchange and without an intermediary. And OTC derivative swapping is done exclusively in private siloed environments. What does that mean for an asset like an XRP that's attached to a public mainnet that has the ability to serve as an agnostic intermediary exchange mechanism that's also directly connected to a derivatives platform in the form of a DEX, right? That's an intermediary and that's an exchange. So if I'm gonna tell you the answer, but I want to see if you guys think and get this for yourselves. Not calling anyone stupid. I just want you guys to think. If the BTSX, which is a subsidiary or a derivative, pun intended, of the DTCC, follows its rules, if the DTCC and the ISDA are telling you that OTC derivatives are swapped or traded through a private siloed environment and the XRP token is attached to a public mainnet with a public decentralized exchange built in, where would XRP come into effect? How would those private siloed environments introduce an asset like an XRP into the fold in those environments? Because the current derivative governing bodies are telling you one thing that completely contradicts XRP in its mainnet and its DEX being used. So I want to see, I want you guys, you guys already know I have theories for days, right? But I want to see what you guys think before I give you my answer. They will need to be owned and held by those silos. Kind of getting there. Kind of. XRP is the rel. How do you people, what do you mean you people? You people that are nut jobs? Well, yeah, whatever. Like I said, he's entitled to his opinion. There's a reason why skeptics watch me. I know why you watch me. It's all good though. I won't toot my own horn, but you wouldn't be here just to disagree. I don't listen to people I don't agree with. I just turn them off. What do you mean, you people? The people with the Seahawks hats. Oh, my bad. Mariners. Ha ha ha. Wrong hat. Let's see. XRP being used in private derivatives platforms for swap of assets. Not a bad answer. Yes, XTC. I'm getting there. I'm just trying to see if you guys are brainstorming. Merry Christmas, guys. International, between silos. So, here's what will likely happen, right? And I think before you see anything happen with derivatives, something that huge, you're going to have to see several communicative and interoperability-based amendments approved regarding the XRP ledger. And it's going to be centered around, a lot of it, around cross-chain communication. That's you here. Who doesn't want to be on a T video, right? I'm just kidding. But yeah, you're gonna have to see cross-chain communication first before you even, because here's the thing, right? There's a few ways this can happen. I have cited this before from David Schwartz, where he was asked about XRP being functional within private environments outside of just the public mainnet. And he said, yes, this can indeed happen. Just like non-XRP related assets can indeed be facilitated or traded on the XRP ledger. But in order to see that happen, these environments have to be able to talk to one another first. Smart contracts, a derivative is a contract in its very nature, right? So you had better believe smart contract functionality and application is also going to play a huge role in this. Now, this goes back to what the gentleman had said earlier about XTC playing a role in this. Absolutely. Just like Algorand, just like ERC20 or the EVM, right? Would all likely have some sort of fun, and Hedera as well, for security purposes, would probably all have some sort of a role or hand in allowing derivatives to be facilitated via DLT-based environments. Now, with cross-chain communication and smart contract application being addressed, keep in mind, if this is an environment where they indeed wish to keep OTC swapping of derivatives private, that, in my opinion, for institutions would make a lot of sense for them to have the desire at that point, depending on the huge amount of trade volume that you're going to be doing nonstop, to actually hold the asset that's going to be facilitating the actual physical exchange of value, right? Smart contract application has a part to play in that, absolutely, and it's paramount. But when it comes to the actual movement in between the siloed environments, this is where the cross-chain interoperability or communicative abilities that I've spoken on before come into play to allow these siloed environments to talk to one another, okay? And I don't care what anyone wants to tell you about, that's never gonna happen, public blah, 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 and private, they're never gonna, don't listen to that, all right? They're wrong, okay? They're wrong. And I'm telling you, as someone who is a career freaking IT, that they are wrong, okay? And I've proven it 100 times over. This is going to be a thing. So if you have a siloed environment where that exchange needs to be facilitated, traditionally that doesn't happen, right? Traditionally, in a normal environment for OTC derivative swapping, you wouldn't see an intermediary in exchange, none of it, all right? And if you're going to introduce DLT into the fold, and they wanted to do it with just smart contract applicators, then okay, you literally, you'd see a scenario like what JP Morgan has set up right now, how they're doing payments and they're using Onyx, but they're using the JPM token to facilitate the value via smart contract application, because they're all in the same siloed network. Not just, oh, we all talk to one another. No, we're all using the same technology because we're all JP Morgan based institutions on the Onyx blockchain settler. Now, for the love of God and for the 1000th time, when you start having different siloed environments on different tech stacks that are based on different code, suddenly that becomes an issue, okay? And this is where solutions like Overledger with Quant and sidechains come into play, as well as something like an XRP ledger and interledger and private siloed environments being able to interoperate with public environments, right? You see where I'm going with this? Literally, that's what you're likely going to see. You're going to see an environment where, I mean, and this is why I keep talking about doing the whiteboard, right? I need a different phone before I do that. I'm going to be 100% transparent. All right, I need a new phone, because this phone, something happened with my charger on it, and rather than paying like $200 to get it replaced so that it'll charge without a wireless charger, I don't know what happened to it, I'm just gonna get a new phone. I'm just waiting for the. I think they told me the S24. It may already be out, or maybe it's the new year. But they were like, "Why don't you come back and get the S24, etc." And so I may just do that, or I may just go in and get the S23. Said yes, it's becoming clear. So that's what you would see, right? When I talk about institutions, this is the thing, man. All right, stuff doesn't take off when it benefits you. It never works like that. It takes off when it benefits them up there. I got small hands, man. You know that? I got freaking like little girl hands. It's weird. Get a Metro? I may have to look into that. I'm an Android guy, so I like Samsung, but nah, I do not like iPhone, man. I'm a Linux guy, right? And me and Quincy were having a laugh at this. Linux, Android's OS is so similar to Linux in terms of user interfacing that I'm just kind of stuck on it. Wait for the S24 Ultra. So it's probably the nerd in me, man. You know, iPhones are pretty cool in terms of, you know, user experience. I mean, they're pretty easy. I used to be a purebred agent back in the day. One of my many duties at one of my previous gigs, where I had to deal with all that stuff with iPhones and purebred registration. And God, I'm not even going to go into detail about that. But yeah, I like Android, right? And that's someone who was working with iPhones nonstop. On top of my other duties, that was just kind of like a collateral that we all had to do on our team, which really should have been NMCI's job. They should have given that to their techs, but they probably didn't trust their techs to do it properly because it was convoluted. So we had a tech duty. Yay! It's like going back in time. Is JPM trying to copy XRP? Is XRP patented? I thought I read that they're not copying it. Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? The utility function on anything ERC20 related, it's going to be totally different. Now, okay, this is what I will say. I don't think they tried to copy XRP, but what I do think is that the dumbasses in banking that don't fully understand tech thought that they could use or monopolize on Ethereum and the ERC20 blockchain to get multiple institutions to buy in on becoming a part of their silo so that they can communicate with one another. Now, eventually, this will be able to happen and they won't even have to adopt JPM coin or the Onyx blockchain settler. And I know they're pretty pissed about that, but Overledger is going to make that layer of communicative ability possible between different chains and assets and etc. Right? That'll be one of the paramount layers of communication that are established so that you don't have to have everyone on the same exact code regarding DLT or blockchain to communicate with one another, right? And that's what you want to see, okay? And like I said, it probably pisses them off because in a perfect world for them, everyone would be on the Onyx blockchain settler. They wouldn't need anything else outside of anything Ethereum based or ERC20 based to transmit value between one another, and they could just do smart contract application and keep it all in house and make all that money for themselves. But it's not going to work that way, okay? It will never work that way. And anyone who tells you that it's going to work like that, with all due respect, they need to go and brush up on a lot. All right, I'm not calling anyone stupid, but there's a lot to that. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of like what John's saying. That's a simplified way. He said they created similar XRP, but only able to work in JP. So, okay, I get what you're trying to say, right? Even though it was a little broken, I get it, right? They basically have their own version of something, but it's only they can only interoperate with each other. Like you're not going to see Wells Fargo if they come out with their own DLT transmitting JPM. Coin on their distributed ledger, right, or whatever system they're going to use, or and depending on what their private DLT is based on, is there even going to be a DEX that's used at that point to provide the exchange, right? Now, I think that was always one of my skeptic points about derivatives, right? Because initially, when I saw Ripple come out and basically say we're targeting the derivatives market, I'm like, what? Like, okay, I could see how this would kind of work, but number one, there's a lot of limitations in terms of. I mean, look, in terms of speed, I mean, I'm not going to say that that would stop them from targeting that market, but you'd need to see something a little bit more efficient, right? In my opinion. And Jesus Christ, you know, I don't know what it is about me doing lives, but it attracts everyone. Like, people are literally like, oh, there's a random guy over there doing a live. I'm going to go stand by him and proceed to talk at the top of my lungs. Like, I don't know why. Without fail, every time that happens, almost. It happens when I'm on a space. It's like, what are you doing, man? So for me, looking at the initial comments from Ripple back in the day talking about the derivatives market, I'm not going to say I didn't think it was possible, but I knew there was going to need to be work done. And just off of how it's currently structured and modeled, it's not designed, like I stated earlier, to use an intermediary and public interfacing tools to essentially swap those derivatives. So what this means is that Ripple and the XRP ledger, etc., undertaking something this big is ginormous, right? Like, because it would essentially change the way that derivatives are traded and exchanged forever. Like, nothing will ever be the same again once this happens. And I mean, that's huge, right? It's a little intimidating thinking, that you could see a scenario where a multi-quadrillion-dollar market is handled by an asset that is currently only at 60 cents, right? Or whatever the hell it's at. I don't know. At this point, I don't even keep up with price. But that it seems daunting, right? And it seems daunting because it doesn't have the value behind it. So people will look at it and just say, yeah, I hear all of the stuff that, these smart folks have said, but there's no price appreciation. So none of that's possible, right? Pick up a Red Magic 9 Pro phone. I don't even know what that is, man. I got to brush up on my phone stuff. I feel like a freaking viejo. I'm old, bro. I don't know. All these phones you guys are talking about, I'm like, what? But in my opinion, I think the derivative side of the utility and keeping part of how they do business with derivatives still in play where it's done privately. And here's something else, right, that people haven't asked themselves. Remember I talked about the TPS restrictions, right? We all know it. The XRP ledger, the mainnet, right? It has its issues, okay? It's not a perfect piece of technology. What it does well, but it will never, in my opinion, and me and Baggins have talked about this, it will never be able to keep up with freaking SQL-rooted databases and that are currently, operating at an ungodly amount of TPS within the legacy system, right? They can't even keep up with Visa or MasterCard and what they're doing, right? You're talking apples to oranges in terms of speed, right? So what's interesting about that, though, is the private siloed versions of the XRPL mainnet in the form of the private CBDC ledger. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because didn't they just facilitate their first trade with the CBDC in gold? Where was that at? I know where it's at. I know where it was at, but I want someone in the audience to help me. What currency, what digital CBDC did they use from what country to facilitate that? Let's see who's been paying attention. I'm waiting for the comments. I know someone knows. My nearest lazy boy. Aha, there you guys go. Shout out to G-Man, Bing Wolfie, AB, Flip 32, update. You guys are not Palau, but it was China. It was the digital yuan. That was a CBDC that they exchanged for tokenized gold. Wouldn't tokenized gold be classified as a... What's that word I'm searching for, guys? Help me out in the comments. What would tokenized gold be referred to as? Maybe. Like I said, someone help me out. Silly me. A what? What was that, John? What was that? Forever coding? Maybe a derivative? Maybe tokenized gold could be a derivative, right? Well, I mean, yeah, gold's a commodity, but the tokenized version of it. What did Warren Davis say about stablecoins? Oh, there's a bear in the background? Where's the bear? Oh, it must have been on the TV. Yeah, so everyone's saying commodity. Yes, gold is a commodity, but tokenized securities that are going to be traded within DLT or DLT-related environments via, some sort of an exchange, that's likely going to be a derivative. So with that being said, is that what happened here during this test? Well, we'll have to stick around and find out. But I can tell you what I do see happening here potentially. I think, and look, this is just my opinion. Now we're getting into tinfoil hat crap, right? Because I can't prove they're going to do this, all right? But if they're already working Ripple with central banks regarding private CBDC ledger technology for institutions who want to keep things in-house, under wraps, private and permissioned, what do you think happens for the institutions who want the same level of privacy for their derivative swapping? Oh, I don't know. Maybe they create some sort of a network behind the scenes with several assets and networks interoperating with one another, and their private version forms for these institutions to facilitate the same utility. And then if there's mainnet interoperability needed at some point with several different mainnets, not just the XRPL mainnet, then there's going to be some sort of communicative layer of interoperability established between those institutions regarding derivatives in their siloed environments and whatever they would need the public ones for regarding enacting that type of use case, right? All right, let's take a look here. I really wish you did more lives because you are a calm theorizer. I try. The DTCC will have a role in derivatives, right? And it's funny because if you think about this, we talked about tokenized securities in the Boston Token Securities Exchange, which is a subsidiary of the DTCC, right? They're gonna have a pivotal role in that. HSBC tokenizing gold and working with Ripple, as well as 2024 And was that a test to show it can move tokenized gold? We'll see. We need one final whiteboard, T, with all the additional knowledge you have. Yeah, I've been talking about that. Like I said, I just have to get it. This phone, the power on it will not hold up to do a 6-hour whiteboard video. Appreciate you guys too. So essentially, the private ledgers become siloed environments capable of huge TPS. Remember, the private CBDC ledger for central banks that Ripple has built does how many times more regarding TPS than the mainnet? The mainnet is listed at 1500. Can it do 1500 comfortably? I'm not going to get into that. All right. But what I will say is that the private CBDC ledger, last time I checked, what was it, 10,000? What that, look, listen. What that tells me is that you're going to see a hell of a lot of utilization regarding privatized, permissioned versions of these public mainnets, right? It doesn't mean the mainnets won't be used, right? Because obviously I think that's where the AMM and the global public liquidity pools are going to come into play that are attached directly to the DEX, right? Which in turn would lead institutions and, you know, arbitrageurs of all types to essentially jump into those pools to try and leverage that volatility and to reap the fees from the arbitrage happening as liquidity providers. But keep in mind, there's going to be a lot of buying and perhaps selling as well, right? I mean, because, you know, it's an automated market maker. You know there's going to be selling going on. But the thing is, do we eventually reach a stage where there's suddenly less selling, right? I think an environment like this where you see almost exclusively private environments that are probably not going to change fully how they do things in terms of going public with them will benefit from having a little reserve pool of something that they hold that they're using to facilitate the exchange, which means theoretically you could see a scenario where they hold a certain amount of Ethereum, they hold a certain amount of XRP, they hold a certain amount of Hedera, they hold a certain amount of Algorand, right? In terms of what they're going to need to facilitate. Like, it may not just be, and that's what I'm trying to get folks to understand out here in our communities, is that it's not just going to be one asset that you're not just going to see a scenario where they just say, Bob, we're going to build a private XRP ledger and that's it. That, doggone it, that's it. We're just going to hoard a bunch of XRP and we're going to trade derivatives with other people who hold XRP, and there's no other asset or network that's going to be involved in doing this. Well, what about the document associated with the derivative, the contract, right? What about smart contract application? You say okay, well, then I guess EVM. Oh, okay, sure. You can apply smart contracts through the Ethereum virtual machine. What about the security of the data that you're transmitting? What about the gossip protocol? Huh? What, you don't think Hedera and HBAR would maybe have a role in that? I could go on and name a bunch of other technologies as well, but you guys get my drift. You guys are sharp. $300 TPS on XRP is not applicable to FX or cross-border payments. Shout out to Swiss Wristwatch. T, you were on point. That's what the video from Ripple on Twitter and CBDCs was about last month with the private ledgers. Okay, I don't know what I was on point about because I said a lot. And I didn't see the video, but fill us in, man. No problem, Star. Yes, guys, the whiteboard will likely come when I have a new phone. When ITT Tech, I'm there. I don't know enough about BSV. Well, okay. Well, here's the thing, right? It's not really about manipulating guys. there's not going to be a different price for an asset in two different environments, right? You're not gonna look, man. I don't know where that came from or who started that, but I really would, and no disrespect to you, because you're only repeating what you've been told or what you've learned, right? Which is fine. Um, but not to you, but to the person who started that, I wish you would go away. Or I don't know where that came from. That you're going to have, that's like saying, oh, the US dollar is going to have a different value on a private ledger versus a public one. No, the US dollar is the US dollar. Now, if you go to a different country with it, there may be different exchange rates, but the dollar itself is always going to be worth one US dollar. If you're here in this country, right? Or, well, the spending power feels like it's about, 30 cents, at this point, but you get my point, right? That's not a thing, all right? Don't listen to anyone who's telling you that. They look, all right. Anyone who's telling you craziness like that, it's one or two things. With all due respect, they may just be a little bit misinformed and they need to read a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've had to do it, right? I didn't come into space knowing everything and anything. I'm still learning, right? So there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But I'm also humble enough to say I'm still learning, all right? The people who are saying stuff like that are saying it definitively like it's gospel, and it's not, all right? Those people, if they can't get over their own egos, they don't have your best interest at heart. Just like these people, look, I have retarded, asinine price points for XRP. Everyone that knows me knows that. I don't care. I don't make any qualms about it. And if I'm wrong, then I'm just wrong, right? But that's my personal opinion, okay? But I'm also going to provide multiple hour-long plus videos providing context as to why I think it can potentially get there, right? And it doesn't mean that everyone has to agree with it. You don't have to. You can think it's not going to go beyond 50 cents for the next 30 years. I'm okay with that. You don't see me reaching out and attacking people because they think it's going to remain at a low price point, right? If you have something substantiated to offer, fine. If you don't, I don't really care. Like, that's your personal opinion. But for me, putting the dots together, and like I said, looking at different scenarios where I could see this happening, not, some venture capitalist fund put this stuff together and I read what they said and I'm copying what they said and just regurgitating it without any, original thought of my own, right? And that's what you're seeing in the space. Let's be honest, man. A lot of these valuation predictions that are going around have been based off of either the Shane Ellis theory, Kendra Hill, Jimmy Val Lee and Val Hill Capital and the little proposal that they put together, or Linda P. Jones, okay? There's not very many people out here in digital perspectives, right, in DAI. That group of people, they've been talking about the insane potential of XRP forever. And I have seen people without a clear understanding regurgitating what they're saying without the basis behind it, right? And you say what you want about digital perspectives. I like them. I don't care. I know people are like, oh, Brad Climb's a moon boy, blah, 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 whatever, all right? I appreciate him because he's been fighting this fight for a long time, okay? And he is one of those people who, God bless him, if he doesn't know something, he's smart enough to go and get someone who does, right? Just like me. If you ask me something and I don't know it, I can point you to someone who does. Someone asked me about quantum computing. I said, I'm not, I get it. I've been in tech, but I don't deal with quantum computing. It doesn't mean I don't know the basics, but if you want to know the intricacies, go to Baggins. You want to know something that I don't know? Go to Kurt. I have no problem pointing people in another direction because it's not about me knowing everything, right? If you're really here to help, then you're going to point people to the best possible option in terms of being able to solve their issues or to answer their questions, right? Give me a sec. Finally, so you and Quincy live. Fire, bro. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, me and Quincy are going to be doing, there's more to come. Me and Quincy may even get together and just do a dual whiteboard at some point, right? Just to kind of shoot the crap with each other, have a few beers, some snacks. I don't know. But that's going to be a thing. Me and Quincy are going to start doing more content. Hey, T, the previous high for XRP was over $2. Speaking for myself and others that I know that hold a large sum of these tokens, the partnerships, new wallets, how is it only 60 cents? Well, the reason why it's only 60 cents right now is because more people are selling than they are buying. It's that simple, right? You have more selling activity and pressure than you do buying activity and pressure. I think the question that you really want to ask, not necessarily why is it at 60 cents, but what is it going to take for it to go beyond 60 cents and be sustainable there, right? Because I don't care if I wouldn't care if I look down at my phone tonight and XRP was at $75, right? Unless it was sustainable, okay? If it's some speculative type of thing, yeah, that's great, right? I may hypothetically, if I held it, be a multi-millionaire, right? Oh, that's cool. But does it stay there? Can I leverage? See that, and that's the thing, man, right? Can I leverage it? Not if it's a speculative run and then it goes up to $75 and drops back down to $10 in a week. No, because of what? More people start selling than they do buying. So it's going to be a combination of things, folks, right? It's going to be that portion of it, and then it's going to be the long-term hold and acquisition. And this is, people are just looking at ETFs, all right? There's so much, how many other investment vehicles, you know what, that's a homework assignment that we're all going to do tonight. We're going to go and we're going to research the wonderful world of googly. Yes, I said googly on purpose. And we're going to look and see what other investment vehicles within the legacy system require, outside of maybe a spot ETF, for the fund manager essentially to actually hold the underlying asset. Because if you guys think that this stops at ETPs and ETFs, I think you're sorely mistaken here. I think there's going to be a scenario where there's other investment vehicles that require the same thing, okay? And therein lies the question. Do you see an environment where the utility that the token provides essentially offers enough of an incentive for these jokers to buy more than they're selling and to hold more than they're releasing? Pin your Cash App. You know what? Be 100% transparent. I could damn sure use it, right? With the amount of, my God, with the amount of money, that's all I'm going to say. But I won't do it. I appreciate it, but it's Christmas, man. You know, everyone's hurting. if you're not rich, we're all damn near in the same boat, regardless of what I may make a year. You know, a lot of us have kids, a lot of us have families. We got to support. A lot of you guys just went out here and spent all kinds of money for Christmas. Keep your money, man. And if you're going to spend your disposable income, put it in a savings account or put it in, not official financial advice, of course. This is just my personal opinion and my perspective. You know the drill. I don't even have to go down the full disclaimer, but spend your money elsewhere, man. Like I said, I believe eventually that day will come where you guys won't even be thinking about a Cash App, right? So I appreciate it, man, but no worries. Like I said, Merry Christmas, and you guys keep that money. No, I appreciate it, guys. Caleb, I do. I really do, but I can't take your guys' not during the holidays, especially. I mean, I've done it before in the past because people wanted to donate, but man, people, come on, man. You know, I don't want anyone having to feel pressured or anything like that. And if this Christmas hit me upside the head, I know it hit other people upside the head. So no worries. But the gesture means a lot. I mean that from the heart. I really appreciate it, guys. I've been holding since 2016, lost it all, gained it back now. I have diamond hands. I love hearing you talk because it reminds me of when I get anxious, just how early we are, even at this in 2023. Oh, Link is tokenizing assets. Man, everyone's going to be doing it. Hedera, freaking Link, XRP Ledger, tokenization is coming to all of them, man. It's a beautiful thing. And Chainlink will be used. You know, Swift has already chosen them, if I'm not mistaken, as a solution for CCIP, and that's important, right? That's another thing, right? I think you'll hear the rhetoric about what Swift is going to use and what they're not going to use, and I think that ties into the confusion again about what's actually going to happen, right? People will see, but I understand it, right? I'm not going to call people retarded because freaking they um they don't, they're only going off of what's definitive. There's nothing stupid about that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. People are just programmed to think that way, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I ask you, you didn't ask me for anything, please pin it. Guys, no, like I said, man, you guys, I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, man. I just, like I said, I don't, it's the holidays, man. I get it. I know you guys want to show appreciation, and you don't show it to me by giving me money. You show it by being respectful, by showing up, and by, you know, having these conversations with me. I don't really have anyone I can talk to about this, man. There are people in the crypto community that think I'm crazy. Imagine what normal people think, right? So I don't really have anyone that I can just sit around and kick the crap with and talk this stuff with, you know, that really want to hear it, you know. You're either getting laughed at, you're getting told the stuff is a scam and dismissed, or people just don't even want to hear it, you know. So it's one of those scenarios where it's like, this, what you guys are doing right now is support, you know. I would never, I don't want you guys to feel like you got to give anything, man. And like I said, man, I know you guys have kids. I know what the holidays cost. Look, I'm not going to say what I just spent, but Jesus Christ, man. You know, it's just, and some of that too is where I live, man. Stuff here is just, I mean, Washington, Western Washington is expensive, you know. So that's just, I just have to bite that bullet with the cost of living here, you know. That you at home with us, I appreciate it, man. That's all I want. You know, like I said, I'd be a liar to say, oh man, extra money wouldn't be nice. But like I said, man, I know everyone's going through it. If I'm feeling it with what I bring home, everyone is. Unless you're making over $200,000 plus with zero debt, no mortgage, no nothing. You're feeling it, and you don't even need to say you are. I know better because I'm good with money. Like I am not bad with my money at all, and it's hard out here, man. You know. We could pay him with some Dodger tickets for next year. Ah, you guys don't have to. I appreciate it, man. I don't understand how people are making it. Perseverance. Humans are resilient, man. Even though it seems like we're soft and weak, we really aren't. And support, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie, man. You know, for me, and I'll kind of deviate off of the topic because we beat utility over the head. We talked about derivatives and, you know, the goal that Ripple had, you know, expressed verbally and openly that they wanted to accomplish, and the current framework, you know, based off of what the DTCC, the BTSX, and the ISDA have talked about regarding how derivatives are traded, how you would get around that essentially, and, you know, ultimately with its utility, how several of these assets can increase the efficiency of derivative swapping. We talked about cross-border transactions, remittances, the replacing of a correspondent system to essentially usher in reserve pools where digital assets are held to replace that correspondent framework, so that now you can do it all, well, not that it's not done digitally, but blockchain DLT style, right? We touched on, you know, buying more than you sell and selling more than you buy, etc., and how the supply and demand factor would ultimately need to be there on top of a store of value narrative associated with the asset to see it appreciate in price, right? amongst other things. We like I said, we kind of beat it into the ground so we could switch gears a little bit and talk about, you know, the subject that what's their face just brought. Kurt, my brother, man. K Moore said, hey, happy holidays, everyone. Give the Billy Goat himself a huge warm welcome. And if Crypto 901, Chico, Chris Bennett, Quincy Jones, Linda P. Jones, Zach Rector, any of them, Baggins, Future, Gary, etc., are in here listening, give them a huge, warm goat, Billy Goat, welcome. Because they deserve it, man. You know, those guys, I tell you, man, as frustrated, I have never seen someone as underappreciated and as frustrated sometimes as Kurt can get. He still keeps a smile on his face. He may not be on Front Street, but he's still working hard behind the scenes with the other fellows, man, to get this information out, and God bless them, man, because it's hard. You know, it literally feels like sometimes we're fighting an uphill battle to do it. Man, dude, like it's stressful at times even, right? Like it's like, Jesus, man, like, you know, because you start to empathize and you feel bad, you know, because here we are, you know, beating the pavement, trying to get this message out, and a lot of times we simply get met with the price is still at 60 something cents resistance or rebuttals, and it's like, oh, like, you know, it's going to be extremely difficult to get people to see what you're seeing when it's not reflected in the value of the asset or the networks just yet, you know. So it's, you know, but like I said earlier, human beings, we are resilient. We're tough. We're a lot tougher than what we come off. And, you know, this is how we make it, you know, through resilience, through perseverance, and through support. Because I tell you, man, if it, like, shit, man, if it weren't for my dad, dude, I don't, and his family, forget about it, man. I don't. Right back at you, John. ETF, how does an ETF work? Well, a spot ETF is what we're really talking about here. And a spot ETF, what they do, so a fund manager, now what they're trying to do is make it to where it's cash redeemable, I think. So like, basically the purchaser of the fund wouldn't really receive Bitcoin, right? You'd be invested in the fund, but it'd be redeemable via cash. So like, let's say you wouldn't receive Bitcoin or a fraction of it. If you went and cashed out of the fund, you'd probably receive cash. But the fund manager that's put together the specific Bitcoin ETF would have to own the underlying assets that power the fund. So let's say BlackRock came out with blah, 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 Bitcoin spot ETF, right? And it had Bitcoin, XLM, XRP, Quant, Solana, Ethereum, and maybe something else in it, right? Had like 6 or 7 different crypto sectors. BlackRock themselves would have to go out and they would have to acquire it as the fund manager and then hold it as the underlying asset to power the fund, but the fund itself is actually a security that's being provided to you, which is likely why it's going to be cash redeemable, right? Because of the security packaging of the product. So that's likely that's likely what you're going to see, right, with these spot Bitcoin ETFs and other ETFs that are coming out as well. I like what Bergny said. At the end of the day, everybody's partnering up with Ripple. It's that simple. And it rhymed, too. I like rhymes. Rhymes and analogies. Crypto Hulk posted that Uphold is sending info to the IRS. Well, I don't care. I mean, I don't really sell like that anyways. So you ain't going to get nothing from me until, you know, the big kaboom happens, right? And I don't know if they send it directly to the. Now they do send you a tax form, but they sent one last year, man. I don't care about that. And like I said, well, I mean, and the reason I don't care is because I don't sell like that. I mean, what are you gonna come after me for like $200 worth of profit? Fine, I'll just pay it. The IRS approached me about way more than that. They're not going to throw you in jail for a few $100 now. You become a millionaire and try circumventing the IRS. That ain't going to happen. I'm going to let you know right now. They may not bother you for like $200 because you did a small trade, you know, when you were down anyways and took a little bit of profit in the loss, or even if you were up a little bit. But you hit those big numbers, they will come find you for that. Oh yeah, Stronghold. Yeah, Stronghold's a good little project. I sure did see it. And I've been lazy because I may have been hypothetically meaning to get some, but I've just been procrastinating lately because I've had so much crap going on. But I like Stronghold. I won't lie. Stronghold, XSP, those are some low cap powerhouses in my opinion. But I definitely wouldn't deviate from prioritizing the main ones that you're gonna need utility wise. Casper, oh, I have mixed thoughts on Casper, but I'll need to take another look at it, like a deep dive before I start talking about it in that manner, because I'm not going to tell you guys what to buy, but before I tell myself it's a good buy, is what I should say. I'll take a look at it. Hey T, did you see Strong? Bro, I saw the message. I was going to get to it, Lynn. Well, I mean, before I could talk about how Ripple invested in Stronghold, I need to go and look at the documentation proving that, right? And be able to provide a source for it before I just talk about it, because the truth is, I've seen people tweet about it, but I haven't seen a source, right? Like, I could talk about Elon Musk investing into Ripple and Stellar via the Founders Fund because I could point to the documentation that proves it, right? That I need to go take a look at. So, respectfully, I'll take a look at it and then I'll get back to it. Yeah, oh yeah, the IRS will come for you. Here's the thing, right? The IRS actually has a program to where if you owe under, I think, 70,000, it's in between 50 to 100,000. If you owe under that, they'll set up a payment arrangement for you if you owe taxes. Like, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, Wesley Snipes and them, went to prison for millions, okay? Like, this is not, the IRS doesn't work like that. Like, they're not going to throw you in prison for a few $100. But like I said, if you become a millionaire and you start playing those games, you're going to win stupid prizes, all right? Okay, Moore said, going to be hard for Congress to confiscate digital assets on a public network. That will never happen. Even the clawback feature that they're proposing for the XRP ledger only targets issued assets, right? From institutions. They can't target the actual native asset of the ledger itself. XRP price is meant to be low, and when AMM comes, watch out, because it ain't going anywhere. And that was from, whatever his name is. Well, you know what? In theory, he could be right. Once again, your limitations of what you think don't matter in terms of fact. Supply and demand. High supply, the only thing to negate that is high demand. Does an automated market maker automatically pump the demand up for the asset? Not necessarily, but there's other things that can. So you're kind of making a mute point there. Like, I get it, I respect it, it's your rebuttal. That's how you feel, don't buy it. Hell, truth be told, you shouldn't even follow me if that's really how you feel, because according to you, I'm out here peddling bullshit. So why would you even watch me, right? Unless you just want to debate, and that's cool too, because I like to debate as well. But there will be more than likely a demand based off of what it can do, where you see an environment where once the correspondent system is shifted away from, what's up, brother? You need something to essentially scratch that $27+ trillion itch in the form of an asset that can provide the exchange for FX purposes between multiple institutions for any form of value, See where I'm going with this? So, yeah, sure. Maybe they put the AMM on there and the global liquidity pools, and you don't see an immediate surge up in price. Do you think that lasts forever? Was Amazon a bookstore forever, or did they turn into an e-commerce giant years later? See, you guys, you know what I've learned? about some of you in this space. You have a very small, limited perspective and way of thinking, and that's okay, right? Like, you guys are the type of people that, you know, I don't want linguine. I only want to eat ramen noodles because, you know, I don't trust, you know, that pasta that I can't pronounce, right? Like, I get it, right? I get it. People have a tendency sometimes to like what they like and think what they think, and they can't see anything beyond their perspectives or any scenario that doesn't fit their narrative, right? But the real world doesn't work like that. And whether you're invested in it or not, or whether you believe these changes are coming or not, doesn't really matter. They'll move without you. What about Japan going all in on XRP for all of their banks? I mean, Japan is, I mean, there's been plenty of news out of Japan for years now with them praising XRP in that manner. So I'm not really surprised that they even said that, right? I mean, that's kind of been a thing, right? People talking like I'm going to be worth 200 million and they ain't getting a dime from me. All that stupid talk, you run like hell from them. Moore said, I'm not the best and understand everything with this tech, but I can hold on. 54 billion tokens, and if 100 companies buy and hold and use 54 billion, makes circulating supply 0. Well, and that's the thing, right? Are they going to buy? What did I say earlier, guys? Is there a scenario that happens that causes them to buy more than they sell? And no one, you know, that's had a rebuttal to this can tell me why that doesn't happen. And that's sad, right? Because if you're going to rebuttal my points, then you should be at least smart enough to explain why there will never be a demand for the asset. Or the ledger itself, right? Because you're going to inadvertently use the ledger if you're using the asset or a form of the ledgers. Said 801 said T, a bunch of linear thinkers. Yeah, I don't argue with people like that. Okay, hey man, if you only like pepperoni pizza and you know you're scared of meat lovers, then be scared of meat lovers. That's fine. If you want to live your life that way, that's cool. I choose not to. I choose to have a broader perspective than you, and I choose to think outside of the box. And if you can't do that, then God bless you, you know, but you're not gonna confine me to your way of thinking. We'll just agree to disagree respectfully, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Welcome, value customer.
Oh, value customer. Give me a sec, guys. I am.
If you have your shopper's card, scan it now.
Yeah, people will get it. Like I said, guys, I'm not mad at them for having a difference of opinions, but like I said, if it's not rooted in substantiated fact, then you can't tell me that my educated speculation doesn't have any substance to it, right? You're doing the same thing. Oh, I'm speculating it's not going to hit it. Well, I'm speculating there's going to be significant adoption. Who's right? Time will tell. And here's the thing, time ain't over yet. So, like I said, we'll see.
Enter the number of bags you wish to purchase.
Jesus, man. There you go. Take my money.
Your total is 48.80. System processing.
No cash
Swipe
back.
or insert card and follow instructions on pin pad.
I saw something about the XRP ledger. Oh God, what was it? There's a name for it. Neil Hartner was talking about it earlier. I'll look into it, but I'm not worried about it. Listen, let me tell you something, guys. All right. Vulnerabilities happen on systems every day. Now, I can't talk exclusively about the systems I work on right now. That's a no-go. But I can tell you about systems I've worked on in the past. To an extent, right? The unclassed side, we've had spillages before. We've had network vulnerabilities. We've had category 1 or cat 1 vulnerabilities that were in urgent need of remedy, right? It happens. That doesn't mean that we suddenly say, hey, we're going to throw NMCI in the toilet and we're not going to use it anymore because there was some sort of a vulnerability or there was some sort of an attack that hit us. No, man, you fix it. See, This right here is why I talk about the difference between ITs looking at crypto in one light, and then non-ITs looking at it in one light, right? We're going to look at stuff like that and realize that there's a way to fix it. And that's what's important. Did you fix it? Or did you simply let the vulnerability or the attack wreak havoc on your systems and your network, right? That's what it's about. That's what you want. When people were panicked about this Ledger crap, and, oh my God, I've never used Ledger, blah 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 blah. And look, man, it was a freaking ERC-20 decentralized application vulnerability situation, right? Don't freaking. Do you remember the video when I told you freaking guys out there about putting or using Ethereum related DApps for your ledger? And someone had asked me, and I know you guys remember this because I had talked about this before and said anything ERC-20 related is going to be more vulnerable to hacks. Shit like MetaMask and all that crap. I've been telling folks for years, steer clear of that, right? Someone had even asked me in here one time during a live, T, should I put my Ethereum related assets on a different wallet? What? Dude, this is yet another example, and I'm not blaming anyone in here saying you guys are wrong or stupid, but this is another example where I kind of gave folks the playbook and they just said, man, whatever, T doesn't know. Okay, T doesn't know. GF Baby said, I remember. I'm like, dude, like, look, you don't have to listen to everything I say, but man, sometimes I know a little bit of something, all right? I'm not completely retarded, all right? Just a little bit, okay? Slapping with my little hands. I know, right? Little hands. Little hands. I do have little hands. But yeah, man, it's crazy, right? So, but here's the thing with the Ledger situation, right? The good thing is that they were on top of it. They targeted the attack and whatever vulnerabilities were associated with it. They fixed it, and they got back up and running again. And that's what you want to see. Come on, man. Look at Solana. How many times does that freaking network go down? It is not dependable. But look at what the value of the asset is right now, right? I'm just saying. Sometimes multiple things can be true at once. Come on, man. Leave Crypto Hulk alone, man. That dude is old, man. Like, look, leave him be, man. He's got it, man. I don't want no problems with Crypto Hulk. I say that like I'm a spring chicken, right? I'll be 40 next year. All right, guys. So my phone battery life is dying a little bit. Jesus, I can't wait to get a new phone soon. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming on here. I know sometimes I tend to ramble and it can be a little bit convoluted, and I know people are like, oh, T, shut the hell up and get to the point, blah, 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 blah. But hey, man, that's just how I do business. It's for free, so you don't got to pay for it. So stop complaining, all right? I'll eventually get to the point. And to everyone on here who offered money, look, man, I appreciate it, but like I said, man, it's the freaking holidays, man. If I'm hurting and I make a pretty decent living for myself, I know other people are as well. Whether you went hard or not, you don't know what's going to happen in the end, right? You could have an emergency hit you tomorrow. Transfer case blowout, tires blow out, something could happen. Take that disposable income. Now is the time to either save for a rainy day or invest for better days. And that's what I want you guys to do, man. I look, man, like I said, your guys' support is you coming on here and kicking it with me. And as much as more money definitely would help anyone right now, that's not why I'm doing this. So I appreciate the support. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay healthy. World's crazy right now. And let's do all we can, man, to see each other to the finish line. Signing out.